let's go over to the Mountain West into a game that this week potentially has more college football playoff implications than any other game we could possibly talk about this week. Boise State is heading over to Las Vegas to play UNLV. Both teams playing fantastic football. Both their loss, Boise State lost to Oregon in a barn burner, right? Just lost that, wasn't able to throw the ball effectively at the end of the game. UNLV loses to Syracuse in a game that, we'll say it, I know we just bet on Syracuse, but UNLV should have won that game. UNLV should have won that game. Penalty, dropped interception. A couple things happened. At the end of that game, UNLV definitely could be undefeated heading into this game right now. And I'm looking at teams that are both top 5 in scoring offenses in the country. They're both top 5 in rushing yards per game in the entire country. And they're both holding teams in the opposing run game pretty well. Now, we did see LaQuint Allen kind of tear up UNLV a little bit there, but to say that Boise State's defense is good would be a criminal misrepresentation of what they are, because they have not been good. I know Spencer Danielson is a defensive guy, but he has not gotten it done on that side of the football and has benefited a lot from a particular player whom I've taken, well over a minute to address, by the name of Ashton Jeanty, who is absolutely unbelievable at football. And it will be amazing because there are going to be Heisman Trophy voters that are going to get to watch this football game and actually evaluate Ashton Jeanty based on watching him play a game. Because we know that Heisman voters aren't staying up and watching those Mountain West games. They're not. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Ashton Jeanty. I'm excited for Boise State. I'm excited for the Mountain West. And, I guess Pac-12? I don't know. We'll talk about that another time.
We'll just celebrate the Mountain West for what it is right now.
Exactly.
Let them have their flowers. Right now, it is potentially the most important G5. I know you got the Army and Navy doing their thing down there in the American, but these, like you said, these two teams are primed for playoff candidacy, right? And the talent is there. The stars are there. You mentioned the guys on the Boise State side. I want to highlight a couple guys on UNLV. Heisman Williams, since taking over from Matthew Sluka, has been awesome. And he's given them a different dynamic throwing the football. He's completing over 70% of his passes, 10 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. That is going to be massive in this football game. You want to give your defense as little opportunities that they have to tackle Ashton Jeanty as possible, right? And also, you want Boise State to be playing catch-up. We have not seen them play catch-up really since Oregon in the end of that game. And it's just, right? So it's going to be different. And you get them off their schedule, off what they want to do, running the football, grinding out the games, and kind of just suffocating your defense throughout 4 quarters, and also waiting for Ashton Jeanty to break a couple tackles, and boom, he is gone. And also Ricky White, man. No one else is more grateful for Heisman Williams than Ricky White, man. He has been the beneficiary. 9 touchdowns on the year so far, averaging over 13 yards per catch, 614 yards. He has been fantastic. And obviously some stars on the defense, Jackson Woodard, linebacker, Jalen Catalon at that 3rd level, guys that are obviously maybe some regrets from that Syracuse game, I think, a couple weeks ago. But nonetheless, they played their tail off. They played their tail off all season. Looking forward to see them on a prime stage, a national stage. This is a big-time game trying to tackle one of the best players if not the best player in college football. It's going to be awesome.
And Ricky White, there are NFL scouts probably drooling, because when I watch him play, I am just like, holy smokes. Okay, so he goes out, he's like, let me catch an 80-yard touchdown, let me do this, let me do that. Offensively, let me just, oh yeah, you can throw it to me whenever, I'm a mismatch with whoever I'm at. And then he's like going to go, all of a sudden go on special teams and just block a punt. Like, what? This dude actually is insane. He does everything, and he does it so well. Guys like that, I just love that, the fact that he's a star receiver and is also playing special teams at an insanely high level. And it is a huge impact on the team. I mean, you saw it, in the Syracuse game when he blocked the punt. He was absolutely everywhere. At Boise State, what do you need, right? What do you need to win this game? Well, 1, you got to get Ashton Jeanty going. Okay, obviously. That's rule number 1, okay? Say you're not early, right? Say you actually find yourself behind because UNLV keeps scoring, right? And you find yourself down a possession or 2. Maddox Madsen is going to have to do things to move the football down the field. He's got to get guys like Austin Bolt. That's why the run game's been so important, because they've been so efficient throwing the ball with the play action. It's so important to that offense that they get that going. I'm actually going to take UNLV +3, and I'm going to take them to win this football game right here. I know it's going to hurt my Ashton Genty plus 1,000 Heisman ticket if that does happen, which, wow, would that be awesome. Might have to hedge that with Cam Ward here pretty soon, but I really like UNLV in the spot. No, I don't love UNLV's run defense, even though they have stopped the run in general. I don't think they played a ton of really good running teams, and even Syracuse was kind of able to find some leeway with Quinn Allen. And believe me,
And
Ashton
Kansas,
Genty
too.
can,
Back to Kansas.
yeah,
Evan Neal, Jalen Daniels.
Yep, they did find some room there. So I think that stat is a little bit inflated by some of the worser teams, lesser teams that they played. And Ashton Genty, we know he can run against anyone. All right, if you can run against Oregon, when Quinshon Judkins and that offensive line can't, I mean, yeah, you're a pretty dang good football player. So and Genty's coming off of a bye, like he's fresh. So it is scary. I don't love the fact that I'm on UNLV +3, but I'll take it and I'll take it to win the game because I love. I think it's a more complete football team than Boise State.
I think being at home for UNLV is huge, and not necessarily. I think it's more so getting away from Boise. I think that game would have in Boise would be obviously very, very tough to play there. The blue turf, the fan base that they do have, like you said, UNLV rushing their rush statistics right are top quarter in the country, right? But I think some of that is a little bit skewed to some of the game script, right? They have jumped early on some of these teams they have played, and then also they've just played teams that don't love to don't love to run the football. So it just kind of works both ways there. But man, oh man, oh man, my thinking is like, do I feel good about taking Boise State if Janty doesn't go crazy? Because I feel like he is, and like part of me thinks he kind of has to. But what if he can't? Like you said, what do they have to do? Austin Bolt, right? We saw Cam Camper get going last week against Hawaii. Like, can they be explosive enough? Can they be consistent enough in the other facets of their game
It's a good
to
group.
give them a chance? Yeah,
It's a good group of players.
it is. And I think part of it's not really about they don't want to have to do it. It is part of it because if you paid what they did and they invested in what they had to get Janty back, right? Wouldn't you use him too? He's the best player in the country, probably. So they'd be fools not to, averaging about 10 yards per carry, which is crazy. And the fact that he's sustaining that is wild.
Which would be like top 10, by the way, in you're going to on pass yards per attempt. You know, it took his rushing yards per attempt and made it passing yards per attempt. I'm pretty sure it'd be top 10 in the country in passing yards per attempt. That's how efficient this dude is. Like, it's literally more efficient. There's like no other team in the country that's like that. Well, besides like the military schools, but it is actually no, that's not even true. It's more efficient to pass the ball because of the. Anyways, the point is, it is more efficient for them to run the football than it is to throw the football, and not a lot of teams can say that.